On today we're going to talk about the free stocks I recommend in April. I can leave a link down in the descriptions. Um, Everything. I'm not going to get 100%. I'm just going to review them. I like doing this so people can learn about it. Really not learn a whole lot about the stocks per se, but really I kind of like to review them. I like to talk. It's called, basically I don't see anybody else on YouTube talking about their stocks. They can recommend it, but then they never check back. I feel like that's stupid. You don't trust people like that. You just don't listen to people like that that don't have accountability. This is why I make these videos. It's really just accountability. I don't really, and that's why I make them. But anyway, I'm just going to kick it off. I can tell you what the S&P did over the 3 months, and I go make a video 3 months, 6 months, and a year out. Then, unless I tell them to sell them and get out, and then I might switch them around and sell them. But anyway, I could explain that later. Basically, the S&P over the same time period went up about 3.4% over last month. Last 3 months. So essentially did pretty well. I mean, 3% is pretty good. 3.44% is pretty good. But it was a good 3 months for these stocks. Every single one of them beat it. So essentially, I'll just start with the weakest one and the strongest one I can leave for last. Best for last, right? But anyway, let's just get into it. SanDisk. Basically, it's a cloud product that does like customer service, stuff like that. So essentially, emails and stuff like that. Basically, customer service for businesses. It's up 3.51%. So essentially, just a little bit, 1/10% up over the S&P. So take it. I mean, a gain is a gain. So essentially, it was a pretty good. It was up and then it kind of goes down. This stock's very volatile. It was up over 5-6%, but then it came down. I did right now. So essentially, that's what it is at. The next one is a really, really good stock, Adobe. It does like Premiere, Photoshop, and all that. It's kind of like, I almost compare this stock to maybe Microsoft. It's kind of like the Microsoft of the creative world, I guess. A lot of people, it's like that subscription business that a lot of people do if they create things. And we live in the world of creating things and stuff like that. So essentially, I could talk more about it. I could leave a link down there talking more about this. I don't want to get this video too long. It's really just kind of talk about refreshing it, revisiting it. So essentially, that's one stock. It's up 9.38%. So essentially, that's pretty good. Almost 10%. Actually, from its all-time high from this, it hit one after its thing. It kind of sold off. A little bit of profit take, but I guarantee it'll get right back up there if we have a pretty good quarter and the economy keeps going. All things considered. I believe we can get back up there pretty easily. And that was well over, had a good quarter, pushed the stock up even more. That I think it was over up 12% or so. So essentially, let me adjust this real quick. But yeah, so essentially that was a good pick. It's a good company. I believe in holding it even longer. And now the number one stock in this group, is Match Group. Match Group is done exceptionally well. When I first recommended it, it was doing well, and now it's doing even better. So essentially, it's up over 17%. And actually, that's coming down a lot too. So essentially, this stock actually at the peak was actually over like 30%. So essentially, when I picked it, so essentially, this stock is basically rocking and rolling. It's doing well. I mean, it's a dating app. It's like Plenty of Fish and all that. So essentially, that's why I like it. I like what it's doing. The stocks ran up and it did a little profit taking, but actually, them are good buying opportunities when they profit take and they kind of bounce. They always kind of seem to bounce off the same levels. Anyway, great buying opportunities. So essentially, anyway, I'm going to talk about as all of them. I can leave a link down in the description once again of all these stocks that I recommended. So you guys check it out, see if they're right for you. Hopefully you bought them when I recommended them because they did well. So essentially, if you would have put, let's say, 1,000 in each, and I like to do it kind of like the way you would kind of do it. Obviously, if you had $3,000, you could have put it in the S&P. So I did 3% in the S&P. Like you put 3,000 in the S&P, got 3% on that. So essentially, it makes it a little bit harder. The other stocks have to outperform a lot more like they did, but still beat it. Beat it over. If you would just put $1,000 in each one, the Zandex, Match Group, and Adobe, you'd be up over 3,298. So essentially, that's well over about 6%. So essentially, you basically double the S&P over the same time period. Because then, if you put in the S&P, you would have $3,102. So essentially, that's if you put $3,000 in it at a whole time. Versus, so essentially, if you would, so essentially, every single one of these you would have beat if you would just put $3,000 a match. You would have a lot better. You would have been up well over. You would have crushed the market basically. But really, you basically double the market even if you put just 1,000 in each one. So essentially, it was good. It was good, and the market was kind of down a little bit in April. April was kind of this mixed, kind of flat kind of month. There was some trade stuff going on, and this and that, and there's always been fear, and always people say it's going to crash and every whatever. But anyway, that's the stocks. I like to always review them, talk about them. I don't like making these videos too long. I like just to refresh, and I can see back in 6 months, or whenever that is, was it September, October, or whatever. So I can revisit these and see my opinions. I can always give an update on these if something big happens into it, good or bad. You always have to be watching. You always gotta keep your eye on your money. You know, I mean, you always gotta watch. Gotta watch. This is something that you know. I mean, you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention, but not too much. Pay attention. You can't be so like looking at every single thing that can go wrong, and then nothing goes wrong. So essentially, but you have to be very cautious, very prudent. But anyway, that's it. I'm gonna leave a link down in the description of stocks I recommended, and everything. I can leave everything, and I hope this video helps. Hopefully, it maybe opens your mind to maybe invest in these companies. I would still recommend them going forward. So essentially, thank you. Remember, subscribe. I give daily videos, lessons, and everything like that. Anything I can show you from my experience. Hopefully, it helps you guys out. So thank you for watching.